Hi traders, this is Blake. This is Blake Morrow. You are listening to the Morning Edge webinar. If I sound raspy, I am. I have not been able to shake this. You know what it was? Okay, first of all, if you ever go to Vegas, for you need Vegas usually is not vacation type of material. You usually need a vacation after Vegas, and I thought being in Vegas with kids would be a little bit different. It really wasn't. My kids were still up early. I still didn't get a whole lot of sleep because the kids stay up late. The kids, want to enjoy. I mean, it's not like, we're in Vegas, so you kids have to go to bed at 8 o'clock. I mean, we were up till at least midnight, and the kids were up too. Then we'd get up early and we'd do all that. So anyway, I never really got any sleep, good rest. And then when we came home, we went to a New Year's party, and so then I just started feeling like my cold came up again. And so if I sound like I've got a cold, I do. I haven't been able to shake it, so my nose is stuffy and I've got a head cold and things like that. But I'm powering through it. It's not it's not like I'm deathly ill or anything like that. It's just if I sound stuffy, and that's really where it's all coming from. So anyway. Okay, but that's my excuse for today, and I'm running with it. So if I sound really all jacked up, anyway. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to. Oh my! Jay said after my first trip to Vegas, we stopped in Amsterdam for 2 days on the way back to London. So much debauchery. Oh, that's silly. That's that. I'm surprised you're alive after that type of trip. Oh my God. Um, Dan says this cold is like the bubonic plague. It just won't go away. It's exactly it. It's like sticking with me. Also, another thing is my wife. She was very, very adamant the last 2 days about rearranging the house and kicking off the new year. Like putting things away, and so it's just I think it kicked up a lot of dust too on top of that. So of course I'm running around the house cleaning all the Christmas stuff up the last couple of days too. Anyway, it just didn't stop. It like I should have taken a rest and I didn't, but no excuse. No more excuses. It's time to do some analysis, and we have ISM. By the way, we have a big week this week. If you guys don't know what's happening this week, we have the ISM manufacturing data coming out today. We're going to have ADP later this week. We have ISM services number later in the week. We have obviously non-farm payroll this week. It's a big week. It's a big, 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 big week. Okay. So let's talk about where the euro's at, and in my opinion, what a key resistance we are in the euro dollar. So here's the euro on Friday, or Thursday, because I wasn't here on Friday. On Thursday, if I'm not mistaken, that resistance is what we wrote down, right? We wrote down 109.50. What a rejection, okay? What a rejection. Big rejection here at 109.50. And the bottom line is we have a couple of downtrend lines that are really important. Obviously this yellow one, but if you go out to the daily chart, more important one is going to be right here. And this 111 level is actually an area I'd love to be short the euro dollar, frankly. With the, excuse me, 1 second, please. Okay, so with the non-farm payroll coming up this week, there's a good chance that we can move up here, especially if any of the data coming into this week doesn't meet expectations. So let me reiterate, we have ISM manufacturing data today. On Wednesday, we'll have ADP, non-farm. We'll have trade balance numbers. We'll have the ISM services number, the non-manufacturing. We'll have FOMC meeting minutes, which are obviously going to be pretty dovish, I would think. Regardless of the hike, they're gonna there's gonna be a lot of Fed governors hesitant, blah blah blah. We have unemployment claims on Thursday, and then Friday we have jobs numbers. So between and now and Friday, I think there's a good chance that we can actually take out some of this resistance and move up towards this 111 level. Um, Especially with the dollar yen so weak. Obviously, the only just so you all know, and if you're just tuning in really quick, uh, just so you all know, the reason why the euro dollar is up 50 pips right now is because the dollar yen is down 130. Okay, that's the only reason. Only reason why the pound dollar is up 36 pips is because the dollar yen is down 130. Okay. It's just the dollar yen is ushering in some dollar weakness at this time, and if the dollar yen bounces, which I think it's going to, if equities bounce, I think if equities bounce, the dollar yen's probably going to bounce. The euro dollar will probably pull back as well, with that. Okay, so anyway, so 109.50 is going to be key for today. That's the obvious resistance, 109.50. We wrote that down last week on Thursday, 1.0950. That's key resistance for today. We're still in a range environment. Let's see. Support. So, do we gap down there? Is that what happened? Frankly, I wasn't looking last night. Okay, so no, we basically opened. We pushed down to 108 and a quarter. So we broke through this support. Let's remove that. You know what? Huh. Interesting. I'm going to tell you what I'm thinking here. Oops, give me my pen. Give me my pen. The goddamn pen is blue. The pen is black. I'm thinking there's a nice little butterfly that's going to be developing there. Because I imagine we're going here eventually. Because the dollar yen's so weak, I imagine that's where we're going to go. But in the meantime, okay, so where we're going to find support for the euro should be right here. Let me get rid of this. I betcha. 108.72. If we can get to 108.70, it's probably not a bad place to be long. 1.0870. You guys know I'm long the dollar Swiss. I've been long the dollar Swiss for, I'm going to continue to be long the dollar Swiss. My cost average is 99.07. I'm up 78 pips on my cost average, and right now it's my only dollar exposure. But in the euro dollar, I would expect that we do this and then, then rally from here. Okay? That's what I think that'll be a good place to be on the long side. All right, let's go over to the pound. Okay, so here's the pound. What a rejection, huh? Now, this is all drawn from last Thursday. If you guys weren't with me, I was broadcasting last Thursday on New Year's Eve. I came back I came back last Wednesday, and I broadcasted on Thursday. and then obviously it was off the last couple of days. One second. Um, so we hit the 161% extension. Let's get rid of this. Basically hit the 161% extension, bounced back to previous support, current resistance, that's 148. So that is a big, that right there, the overnight high, 148.15. Is going to be resistance, 148.15. Now, here's the thing about the cable too, and you guys might have missed this from Thursday. That resistance right here, and the daily candles. I have to alert somebody. Those double daily candles. That's not correct. That's from the holiday. We have we're in a downtrend here with the cable. I believe that the pound is really in trouble right now, and I say that being short the euro pound too, which we'll talk about a little bit later. But I think the pound dollar is in a little bit of trouble here. But really key support is going to be the overnight low. This is a 161% extension of this move. This should hold for now. 146.80. We've been as low as 146.90. So 146.80 will be support. Okay. Let's go over to the Swissy. So, you know what's been really impressive to me? Last night when the stock market futures were under pressure, I was looking at the Swissy saying, "Man, we're up above parity." And I saw the futures under pressure yesterday evening, and I'm like, "Dude, the Swissy's still above parity. That's pretty stout." Because you would think that the and based on previous relationships, the Swissy would be lower with the dollar yen. See the dollar yen's giving us a nice bounce here. So with the dollar Swiss, I've been pretty impressed with how strong it's been, regardless of this risk aversion that we've seen. But it has been very choppy because we broke above the 38% retracement. We weren't even able to capture a 50% retracement, which have been 100.57. So this horizontal resistance looks to be right here. It's actually very significant, obviously, because it's pretty much ignoring fibs at this point. So that's 1.0030. 1.0030. And we'll just write down the support as being the spike lows here. Actually, it'll be this. You notice this is actually we can remove that. We'll just do this. This will be a that zone right through here. That's really all key support through here. You can see all that whole area. I'll write down the low being 99.25 as being support, but all through there is pretty key support. 99.25. Okay. Wow, look at the dollar yen. Nice bounce in the dollar yen. Yeah, I would imagine stocks are going to bounce too. Take a look at the dollar yen right now. For those of you that got out of the yen pairs, nice exit. For those of you guys that took some profits, and Paul was right. He's like just waiting for North American Open, and you're right. That's exactly what the dollar yen has been waiting for. So the low today of 118.70, it's an 88% retracement. So 118.70 is support, resistance at 120. If we can rally to 120, I am going to short the living piss out of this thing. Sorry, I didn't mean to sound all aggro on you guys, but I will just short the heck out of it. 118.70. If we can get back to 120, we are still in a range. And also keep in mind with the futures, take a look at the E-mini futures just so you guys know how big of support we're at. This is one of the reasons why the dollar yen is going to bounce, or was going to bounce. See all this support through here? Look at that. All that support through here. Okay. You have to imagine there's bargain hunters coming in at these levels. Okay. Okay, stand by. Gotta blow my nose. Okay, sorry about that. All right, let's go over to the dollar Canadian. So okay, so let's talk about the Canadian pairs for a second. So one of the things, I'm short the New Zealand Canadian still. How many of you guys are short the New Zealand Canadian? Anybody short the New Zealand Canadian with me? New Zealand Canadian? Anybody short that? I'm being short. It's my only Canadian exposure right now. Okay, is short the New Zealand Canadian. Hamid is. Albert is. Lyle is. You know, being short the New Zealand Canadian, I'm really surprised with this Iranian-Saudi conflict that crude oil hasn't bounced more. That's been really, really like, you know, I'm just scratching my head. Which, without it, I mean, I guess the way I'm looking at it is crude oil and the Canadian currencies are extremely weak. Extremely weak. If this news out of the Middle East has failed to really produce any meaningful bounce in both the Canadian and crude oil, you got to be a little concerned. I am. Like I said, I'm surprised the New Zealand Canadian didn't drop, especially with risk aversion and what happened over the weekend. I'm surprised I'm not up 100 pips in the New Zealand Canadian. Okay, but the dollar Canadian is stronger based on risk aversion. I mean, that's the thing. You know, the market is just risk averse, and when the market's risk averse, they tend to sell Canadian dollars. And you can see we opened right here, and we've just been ripping ever since. Dollar Canadian moved up, and it's been moving up ever since. So this support is obviously critical. Okay, and I'm going to make the assumption right now that this resistance is pretty key for right now. Okay, so that comes in at 139.40. 139.40 and 138.15. Okay, that's just kind of the range we're dealing with. It is in a bullish trend though. So 138.15, 1.3940. I'm telling you guys, any dip that we get in the Canadian pairs, like if the dollar Canadian dips down like this, I'm probably going to get long. You know I want to short the dollar Canadian once we get to 142, but if we get a dip like that, I want to get on the long side if that happens. Okay. All right, let's take a look at the New Zealand dollar. Kiwi's bouncing a little bit alongside equities. Yeah, look at this hammer trying to create here. So we came out of this ascending wedge. That was a nice ascending wedge that we had. Well, we really broke hard too, didn't we? So when we cracked through this support, I mean, that was just, look at that. All right, let's keep that for now. Let's remove that. Kiwi's a tough read right now. Because I'm short the Kiwi, obviously New Zealand, Canadian. I'm long pound New Zealand, Euro New Zealand. I'm long Aussie New Zealand. Um, I don't really want to cover any of those until the Kiwi dollar gets down towards 67 cents. Because I think coming out of this ascending wedge, we still have further to go. Personally, real big rejection at 69 cents. Obviously, one of the other things that you have to think about as far as the Kiwi goes is the false breakout. This is a very big false breakout of this downtrend line. You see that? I mean, yeah, so I'm just wondering where we're going to find some where some good selling pressure might emerge. And I'm thinking, I don't know if we're going to get a rally all the way back up here, but if we get up to 68.20, you got to be a seller. Okay. Oops. Let's see. 68.20 range, and then support. I think what we'll do is we'll write down support as this hourly low because see that false break. I don't know if we're going to get down there this morning. That false break tripped some stops, and then we've already created a little bit of a hammer here. So that low comes in at 67.40. Okay, I'm going to put you guys on hold for a couple minutes. When I come back, we're going to do the Aussie dollar index. We'll look at the peso, which is obviously very strong right now, the Nordic currencies. So don't go anywhere. I'll be back in just a few minutes. Thanks everybody for being here. Happy New Year to you all. All right, guys and gals, this is Blake Morrow. You are listening to the Morning Edge webinar. I want to welcome you all back. And German CPI just came out, a little worse than expected, 0.3%, expected 0.6%. So CPI just, like I said, come in a little worse than expected. And the Euro's, not affected too much. Um, the euro dollar is still trading at 109 or so. Cable's just kind of sitting there. And the liquidity in the markets are still pretty poor. I want to say that I'm still watching prices jump around quite a bit. All right, let's take a look. Let's continue on with what we're doing. Let's go over to the Aussie dollar. Obviously the Aussie and the Kiwi felt a lot of heat with the risk aversion that we've seen hit the markets, and you can see just when we cleared the support. I guess this would have been, yeah, last night. We cleared that support. Yeah, we were trading up here at 73 cents yesterday afternoon, and once we cleared that support, so any move back up there is going to be sold. So 72.65. So if we get any move back up to 72.65, that's key resistance to be on the short side. Okay. We're in a longer term, we're in a range, but still, you can see that any rally up here, you got to be a seller. Okay. Oops. Okay. Support right now. Aussie's pretty easy to read here. This 71.87 should be support. So just write down. Well, I mean, we're literally right here. I guess we should give it more than that, but we're pretty much on support here. Next support level below that's going to be 71.50. Okay. All right, let's take a look at the dollar index. Let me get over to it really quick. Okay, so here's the dollar index. Let's take a little bit longer term view here. This is a 4-hour in the dollar index. Let's delete that. Well, okay. There's support right there. $0.98 is really key support for the dollar index right now. Oops. That's a oops. Asterisk. Resistance. Would think any move back up here to 98.50 for today. To 98.50 it will be that's going to be good resistance. 98.50. Okay. We're in a range, but I want to also take a step back really quick on the dollar index. I want to show you guys something. Okay, the dollar index. We've looked at it. We've looked at it a lot as a big flag pattern. Like that looks like that. We may be developing here is we might be developing a bullish wedge. Looks like that. which is still bullish regardless, but we might be bouncing around here for the next couple of months before we make our way higher. Just want you guys to be aware longer term, kind of what I'm seeing here. All right. Let's go over to the peso. Now the peso, I know you really want to short the dollar Mexican peso, but this market being risk averse, just shove that trade right up, bounce right off of support and right into resistance again. Let's remove that. $17.16, and then we have $17.47. I really think we're going to I really think we're going to 18. So okay, and support is 17.17. Okay, let's take a look at the U.S. dollar Norwegian krona. See if there's anything happening here. I mean, this thing's nudged right up against its highs, and it doesn't even care about crude oil right now. I mean, look how bullish this thing is. I mean, we're just nudged right up against these highs here. I mean, just non-stop bullishness. I'm not going to write down anything because I just don't, I'm not going to write anything here. I just don't think that there's any real clear levels to play off of. Just know that it's extremely bullish. U.S. dollar, Swedish krona, kind of just range bound. Holding the 618. I don't think there's a whole lot to do here either. Okay, so here's your bias chart, and I'm going to take your questions. So let's go ahead and get into some of your questions here.